Good morning, everybody. A very good morning to you all, and welcome back to howtotrade.com, and welcome back to our last stream of this week. A very happy Friday to you all, and hope everyone is looking forward to the weekend, much like myself. For me, it's been quite a slow week, to be fair, but hopefully we can end it with a bang. So we're going to keep the stream nice and light today. Of course, if there are any questions that anyone has, then feel free to ask. If there's any markets that anyone wants me to cover because they're taking a look at it, then feel free to drop that into the chat room and I'll go through it with you. A couple of updates to talk about, and then we'll wrap things up for the week in a fairly efficient manner. And I'll also update you on the current live trades that I've got open. Let me just quickly load up the economic calendar because I didn't do it before the stream. There we go. Right. Hello to you in the trading room, or if you are around on the YouTube channel, feel free to pop up and say hello. Bobby, hello to you. Hope you're doing well. You might be the only one today. It's early on a Friday, so I imagine that people will be watching it on catch up instead, which is absolutely fine. If we have a look now at really the week that we've had. So today, well, yesterday was nothing. Wednesday there was UK inflation. And then really the bulk of the volatility in terms of high impact news events will probably come today because we've got the PMI figures out of Europe. So that's Germany, the European figure, the UK, and the US later on as well. So be careful when you trade PMIs. I would say that if you're a scalper and you like to catch short-term market movements, it's a great day to do it. I don't think that we're going to get some massive directional moves because of this. So be careful. I know it's high impact, but there are definitely more important things going on at the moment in the space. I'll just give you a quick update now on some of my live trades. So finally, the battle with oil was lost. So after all of that, I was stopped out for break even. And when that happens, when you get stopped out of a trade, whether it's in profit, break even, when you just exit a trade, especially when you trade on say that the 4-hour time frames, or you hold trades for more than a day, typically what I like to do then is I sort of delete my analysis and start again. And if I find myself coming back to it, then that's fine. But if I just remove drawings, it sort of just means that when I then start again on Monday, I've got a nice clean slate. So but it was in that oil trade really for quite some time. Probably wasn't quite break even in the end with the charges and stuff that you get with a broker for but pretty much break even. So nothing too bad about that. Only thing that was slightly annoying was yesterday. I marked a Nasdaq trade which I actually took, but I only put 0.5% on it because it was a 5-minute trade. And this is the problem I have with trading on the lower time frames. Your chances of being the chances of your analysis not quite playing out as you expect are a lot higher. And as you can see, we had a demand zone set here. We covered the liquidity. We covered the 20,500. We had a lot of confluences our way here with this trade. It was just unfortunate that we went down, and maybe even you could argue that we came down and tested sort of the initial demand zone. Maybe a bit of a miss from my part. That was clearly the trade. But sometimes when you get it slightly wrong, again, delete that, and everything that you marked yesterday has now sort of been mitigated or invalidated. And then we go again. But you can see that it would have been a fantastic trade had we been tagged in correctly. So yeah, that was only a 0.5% loss. So that really settled my week as 0.5% down. So yeah, not really a great deal to update. And sometimes that's fine. Now I wanted to touch on gold, because as you can see, this recovery now has just moved into not only the 61.8% of the daily fib, but also our area of resistance, really, which is this supply zone. Now, because it's late on a Friday, I'm not actually going to sell from this supply zone. I'm just not really I don't know. The reason that I don't really want to sell from it, although that does look quite tempting, to be fair, I am actually. I'm going to sell from it. I'm going to sell from it with 0.5%. Because of the risk reward's quite good. To 710. So putting my take profit down for me at 2536, but if we come that far, I'll be surprised. But I think the reason that I like taking this trade is because even if we get a move down toward the where this trend rider potential buy is coming in, it would still be a 2-to-1, so I still would have made some profit out of it. And you never know, the trend rider buy might not work out, and then I'll be laughing. So I'm gonna I've placed that as a 0.5% trade, see how it gets on, and that's really sort of the best idea I could find. The reason that I was a little bit hesitant in doing it is, one, because it's Friday, and two, because the geopolitical escalation that we've seen in Ukraine and Russia feeds into that sort of safe haven gold narrative, and that's why that sort of concerns me a little bit from a fundamental standpoint. But we'll put it in and we'll see how it goes. You know, there could be a huge escalation in the war, or it might tail off, and as it tails off, we might see gold fall a little bit. So I'm going to keep it there. I actually placed a trade I didn't think I was going to be honest. But and you can see that silver is making its way up as well. Now FX has been a bit more tricky. I wanted to touch on the pound versus the US dollar. And the reason I wanted to touch on it is because this daily fib that we had, which I thought was, if I zoom in, I thought this low was going to hold. I thought we was at least going to get a move up to 1275, and then maybe even here. But you see, we've come lower again. So what do? Remove the drawings, start fresh on Monday. FX has just been a little bit too tricky for me at this moment in time. I'll just quickly stop just to see if there's any questions that come through. Oh, Bobby, it's just you today. Wow. Very quiet. Oh yes, and the other thing I wanted to speak about, I don't know who on the stream, or if you're watching, if you're in XRP at the moment, you're doing well, which is a popular cryptocurrency. It surged quite a lot, 25% over the last 24 hours, and that's because Gary Gensler, who is the previous chairperson of the US Securities and Exchange Commission, decided to step down, and his stepping down is seen as positive for the XRP or the Ripple case, as it's called, and obviously that, coupled with the fact that there's been a general boom in cryptocurrencies at the moment because of obviously Trump, you can see as a result we now see XRP breaching 1.4. When you think on the 2nd of November it was at 47p, and now we're at 1.4. You can see that. You can understand why people have been getting very excited by that move, which is, if you are in that, then great. 187% profit in just 20 days. As you can see, obviously we're coming into these areas now. The challenge will be for XRPs if we can get a move up to 2 and breach 2. And that could spell a new bull cycle. I have to say, call me someone who's joining in on the hype, but with Trump coming in, I feel like he's very pro crypto, and he's going to be seen as that quite publicly. And I think it's it's going to become more of a hype. It's going to become less of a hype and more of a movement. It could be a fantastic 4 years for cryptocurrencies, and that's why I'm tempted to just start thinking about, as interest rates are falling, where I can start putting some of my savings. And actually, I'm thinking potentially in investing in some XRP and in some cryptocurrencies in general, which I've not said for a while. Bobby, yeah, I can have a look at pound versus the Japanese yen. What we see at the moment is okay, so we had a break of structure, moved into that supply zone. Could look at this. Bobby, what about that? Bit of a difficult market to trade at the moment. There's not really any clear sort of order blocks that I can see. But when that happens, I've sort of been turning towards the trend rider a little bit because it's just quite simple to follow. There's a potential trend rider short there. Bobby, if you fancy it, I'm not going to be placing that. I don't really like the gap between the moving averages isn't quite clear, and you can see we're sort of still we are threatening the lows though. So I could see this being a decent little scalp trade quickly. Yeah, we're actually sort of in that area as well on the 1 hour as well. So yeah, okay. Where could we go? Where could we fall to? If we look at the daily, there's scope for this to fall down to 192.3. Maybe even come and hunt this liquidity here at 190. That would be fantastic. Something that looks a little bit like that, because you can see we're just starting to tail off a little bit. But again, I cannot say I'm saying that with the utmost confidence. I'm trying to make the best out of a really difficult situation, really. Okay. I'll end the stream there. And what I'll do is I'll post the the gold trade idea. But if you were watching the stream, you've got a little bit of a heads up on the sort of thing that I'm looking at. It's been a slowish week, and typically in this month now leading up to Christmas, my trading activity does drop off because it's can be quite a difficult time to trade. So I'll as volatility falls basically. But of anything I see, of course, I will let you know. And if you do need me in the room, I'll be there to answer any questions that you may have. Until then, guys, have a fantastic weekend, and I will see you soon.